Hey, happy Friday night. Shabbat Shalom, all of that good stuff. I am Lexi, and we welcome you to our Church Winners Solani broadcast, Friday night broadcast, which is word deconstruction. And we're here to deconstruct the word so that we can live a more abundant life in God. What do we mean when we say that? Live a more abundant life in God? Well, simply what we're saying is, when we can understand the word better, then we can apply it to our lives better, right? And when we can apply it to our lives better, then we can live out our purpose for God and we can experience all the blessings that God has for us. So, thank you for joining us. And as usual, we ask you that if you're joining, whether you're live or watching the replay, that you will let us know who you are and where you're watching from. So tonight I'm solo. Pastor Rob is getting ready for another broadcast, the streaming broadcast that's going to be going live at 8 o'clock. And I believe he's going to be posting that to his page. And it's definitely something I think that everyone should tune into. They're going to be talking about bullying in the church. And so, hey, if that's a topic that resonates with you, you may want to go check it out. Or even if it doesn't resonate with you, right? Check it out for a little bit because it does happen, right? And we want to make sure that as kingdom citizens, that we are doing what God calls us to do in terms of loving people, especially in the church, right? Y'all know how we can get. So anyway, tonight we are deconstructing Matthew chapter 5, verse 16. Matthew chapter 5, verse 16. I'm actually going to read verses 15 and 16. And tonight I'm reading out in the King James Version, but I'm going to read verse 15 and 16. But we'll deconstruct both of them since I'm reading them both anyhow, right? So hopefully you have your word with you, whether it is your physical word or whether it's your digital word. Tonight I've got my digital word. I was looking for my physical word. I left it downstairs, but I've got my digital word with me. And so, and then make sure that you have your notebooks and pen and all of that good stuff, right? And now let's read Ephesians chapter 5. We're going to read verse 15 and 16. And it reads, "See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil." So as I mentioned, we were looking at we were going to deconstruct verse 16. We'll do 15 too, but 16, because we want to know, what does it really mean, redeeming the time because the days are evil, right? Redeeming the time because the days are evil. So as Pastor Rob and I have shared with you many times before, when we're studying the word, there are things that you want to do. One of those things, context, right? We always talk about context. Another thing that you want to do is to make sure that you are studying the the original meaning of a word, right? You want to study the original meaning of a word. Why would you want to do that? Well, listen, some of the words, okay, New Living Translation, NIV, NKJV, ESV, Blue Letter, all of these different message, they are all translations, right? And sometimes meaning can get lost in translation because there is no longer a word, or there isn't a word that could accurately reflect the word that was used in the original language, right? Or maybe there is a word that was used that no longer, that doesn't exist in these other languages, right? So they try to use a word that is close to it. So this is the importance of, really looking at these words and making sure that we have the right meaning, the right definition, and then for the context, right? So when we say redeeming the time because the days are evil, oftentimes that phrase, days are evil, I'm going to ask you, when you hear that phrase, the days are evil, what does it make you think about, right? If you can put that in the chat, That would be great because I'm solo, y'all. So I need y'all to participate tonight. All right. So if what does that mean to you when you hear the days are evil? And I also want to know, what does it mean to you when it says redeeming the time? What does that mean to you? Okay. I'm waiting for you all to drop some to participate. Okay. Whether you're live or watching the replay, we want to hear from you. So when you read that, what do you think it's saying? Redeeming the time because the days are evil. Now, while you all are going to drop in the chat what's going on, what you think is going on in Ephesians 5:16, I'm going to go back up to verse 15 and I'm going to go ahead and begin to deconstruct verse 15. Okay. So verse 15 reads again, see then that you walk circumspectly. All right. So now that's a word, right? Circumspectly. Like that is not a word that we use in our everyday language, particularly here in the US. I don't know what they do in other countries, but here in the US, I don't know that I've ever, it's very, very, very rare that, I don't know that everyday conversation that I hear someone saying circumspectly. I don't know about you. Okay. So that then for me, as I study, that's a word that I'm going to look up, right? I'm going to go to my Strong's Concordance or my Hebrew dictionary or my Greek dictionary, and I'm going to look the word up and to see what it meant then, so that I can correctly understand this verse, right? Now, we've also talked in the past that, there are some tools that you want to have. So you want to have the Strong's Concordance. You want to have like a Hebrew or Greek dictionary, all of these things, right? And so some of you all are not like me, where you like a lot of books. I love books, right? There are apps for this stuff, okay? There are apps for this stuff. And so because I have my digital Bible, I can go to my Strong's KJV, my Strong's KJV app, and it will give me the meaning of these words. It's going to give me the Greek word, okay? And it looks like it says akriboche. I don't count, I didn't take Greek. So, but then it gives me the definition, okay? It says diligently, perfectly. Okay. So diligently or perfectly. So walk diligently or perfectly. Okay. Not as fools, but as wise. So that's what Ephesians 5:15 says. Then I need to walk diligently. And then it continues, verse 16 says, redeeming the time. Okay. So if I walk diligently, it helps me to redeem the time. But what does that mean? Redeeming the time. Hello, for those of you just joining us, we are in Ephesians chapter 5. We're looking at verse 15 and 16. That's what we're just deconstructing today. So when I went and looked up redeeming, very interesting. I was really actually surprised about what it meant when I learned this. And so redeeming, I was surprised, but not surprised. I was surprised in terms of putting it all in context as it relates to this verse. But redeeming means to buy up, to ransom, to buy back. It means to rescue from loss. Hello, Apostle Juanita. It means to improve opportunity. Now, some time ago, I don't know if this was last year or when it was, but there was a certain congresswoman who was engaging in some, debate with other Congress people, and she had this. She said, "I'd like to redeem my time," or something like that. It was a whole thing, and everybody was talking about redeeming their time, right? So here it is. It means to buy up, to ransom, or to figuratively rescue from loss, to improve opportunity. And for me, that improve opportunity piece was like, oh, okay. I had not really actually put that together with buying back, right? So now think about it. What did Christ do for us on the cross? He redeemed us, right? He bought us back. He rescued us from loss. He rescued us so that we can improve our opportunity to what? To be reconciled back to God. right? Hey, Tammy, good to see you this evening. God will give you back your time for your obedience. Absolutely, right? So that's the word redeeming, okay? And that phrase redeeming, redeeming the time. And when I looked up time, it was really interesting. And it talked about either a season, a while, it talked about a proper time, talked about always opportunity, right? For as long as we have time, there is always opportunity. Um, but here's the thing, we don't know when our time will end, right? Individually, we all have to face death, right? So we don't know when our time will end. And so this is why Christ is telling us, hey, if the Bible is telling us, walk diligently, right? So that you can improve your opportunities. Isn't that crazy? Almost sounds like business like, right? Y'all know, for y'all, those of y'all watching, y'all know that we're entrepreneurs over here. So it always even sounds business like, right? Walk diligently so that you can improve your opportunities. Why? Because the abundant life is about opportunities, right? It's about opportunities to create abundance, and God desires to give us opportunities, and He does gives us opportunities to live an abundant life, right? To live a life reconciled to Him. And so this is, it pays to walk diligently. All right, so let's keep moving. Redeeming the time, because the days are evil. The days are evil. All right, so I asked earlier, for those of you who were here when I read it earlier, what do you think about when you hear the phrase, the days are evil? Now, I'm going to tell you, oftentimes, most of us may think about, we might think about the end times. We might think about, a lot of demonic and satanic things and all of that stuff going on, right? But when we look up the word evil in this particular scripture, here's what it says. It is, and I'm looking it up in the Greek, okay? And so it says, it's from a derivative of hurtful. Okay, hurtful. Wow. Let me see what else. It's got a lot of other things in here. Calamitous, diseased, culpable, derelict, mischief, malice, guilt, um, malicious, those types of things, right? And so if we are walking diligently, right, and we are redeeming the time, meaning buying back our time, so we can improve our opportunities, then we can avoid these other situations that are going on, the things that are hurtful, the diseases, the mischief, the malice, the guilt, the uh, grievous, harmful, the lewd, the wickedness. We can avoid all of those things, because when we go down those paths, right, of evil, okay, hurt, pain, wickedness, all of that stuff, right, then we lose out on the opportunities that God has laid before us, right? So basically Ephesians 5:15 and 16 is saying, walk diligently in the Lord, okay? So that so we ain't out here wasting time, right? We can take advantage of the opportunities before us, that God has before us, so that we can live an abundant life. That makes all the sense in the world, doesn't it? Right? Because when we are not walking diligently, it's a rough life, right? It is a rough life. Those decisions that we make that are not diligent, that are not of the Lord, makes stuff rough, okay? It makes stuff hurtful. It makes stuff painful. We get ourselves into all kinds of stuff and can experience all kinds of things, right? But that's what Ephesians 5:15 and 16 is saying. All right. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. And see, we don't have to be afraid of not being able to understand the Bible. Like I said, you can have a King James Version Bible, and you'd be like, I don't understand all these and thous and all of that. But we've got all of these great tools, just like this Bible app that I just showed you all, that you can study like the scholars too. Like, this is for anybody. God wanted everyone to be able to understand the word. He didn't make it so that, if that so that you couldn't understand it. Now, it is for the kingdom citizen, right? It's for the kingdom citizen to understand. People just, who are not walking in God ain't gonna understand it. But he made it for you and I, kingdom citizens, to understand, right? So what I want to do is show you. Let me see if I can show you the app. I don't know if I can or not. Anyway, it's SKJV. If you go in your app store and put it in, it's free, and it stands for Strong's KJV, and it has these Greek signs. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Let me put it up to the camera. There you go. It's the one on the end, all the way on the end. Okay. As those Greek signs. I know what those mean, but we're not gonna get into that today. But the SKJV app, and then this way it pulls up the scriptures. You're reading it. It has links under almost every word. All you got to do is tap on the link, and it's going to tell you what it meant in the Greek, right? Talk about make stuff easy, right? You don't have to go to, if you don't have to go to Hebrew and Greek class, or you don't have to go to Greek class in this instance, right? I still want to take a class though in the Greek and Hebrew, but you don't have to do that. They got stuff right here, tools. And so there's no excuse. There is no excuse, right? Anyway, I'm babbling on and on and on. Hopefully this has been helpful for you today. And we will again see you next week when we deconstruct the word yet again. I want to remind you all that you can connect with us at churchoneypsilanti.com/connect. I think my camera's having a hard time adjusting after I put that app up there. And then if you want us to pray for you, we will be happy to do so. You can submit your prayer request at churchoneypsilanti.com/prayer. We will pray with you. We will pray for you. If you want us to call and to pray with you, we will do that too, right? And if you want to support our ministry monetarily, you can do so at $church1. That's your Cash App, or you can do Zelle or PayPal, church1md@gmail.com. Thank you for tuning in to Word Deconstruction solo, I should say, today. But Pastor Rob is getting ready to do a stream, I guess. I was going to call it a podcast. It's not a podcast. It's a stream. You can check it out on his personal page. It's going to be about bullying in the church. So he's on a panel with some other people. And yeah, I think you guys want to go and check that out. It'll be pretty interesting. All right. You guys have an amazing time, and we'll see you next Friday, 7:30. Peace. Oh, no one told you. Jesus loves you. We love you. And Jesus is Lord. Bye.